Hello, Northwest Lake County. This is your host, Dick Barr, here with Unlocking Lake County, here with, in the studio, Sly Marinca.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back, Sly.
Thank you.
Christin Kaufman's out of the studio today. She is busy doing what she does, showing lots of properties to lots of people.
Yes.
Wow, speaking of showing properties to lots of people.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, a lot of activity this weekend, huh?
Oh yes. Shoot. We went live on 4 properties last week. All 4 of them went under contract.
Gone.
In the same weekend.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's and crazy. We had one property. We had over 50 showings.
Wow.
And we had 12 offers, and only one of them was at asking price. Everything else was way over.
That is absolutely amazing. So what I'm hearing is it's a good time to sell.
Yeah, it's a good time to sell. And I don't know if it's a great time to buy or not. You're seeing the buyers come through. What's going on?
People are still buying. They're lining up. You know, there's, like you said, there's limited inventory, so prices are holding steady, if not increasing continually. And it's the same thing. I mean, we have my office. I have multiple people that work with me and for me, and we will have literally buyers within our office competing against each other unknowingly. Obviously, we don't share each other's information, but it's like there's gangbusters. If you got a house to sell, it's a perfect time to do it.
Yeah, and it's like the perfect storm, because I know for like a minute, the rates dropped last week.
That was, we'll talk about it in the mortgage minute, but wow, what a wild swing we've seen over the last week. It's truly remarkable, and we'll get into some of the details, but definitely nuts.
I want to talk about, and just kind of tangential to the mortgage, because like you said, we'll get to that at the mortgage minute. But what's going on in the economy right now?
Who knows, man? All these tariff talks and the trade wars are, the markets don't know which way to go. Markets like stability. They like to know what's going on, what the rules are, what the guidelines are, and the markets will usually play within those parameters. But when you add something new, like what we're seeing,
it's novel.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, again, it's like some of the indicators. Like, have you seen the price of oil?
Oh my God!
$56.50 a barrel of oil. That's the lowest it's been since 2021. We haven't seen oil prices that low. Normally, that's an indicator of recession, right? And normally, prices come down. Everything follows oil. Everything we eat, everything we buy, you need oil to get it here, right? It's all shipped here.
Right.
And when those prices go down, typically that's a deflationary signal that maybe the economy is sliding into a recession, so demand is down. And, that means rates should come down, which they did for a minute.
Now, when in 2020, when the oil first tanked, no pun intended, it was because nobody was driving.
Supply and demand.
Right. Yeah, everyone was off the roads. Do you remember
planes
driving
weren't
downtown?
Flying? Yeah, crazy. I remember that, yeah.
It was kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
You felt like you had the roads to yourselves, but no one was driving. So I understand when oil tanks, when that happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me that it tanks now, because nobody's stopping their driving patterns yet. Or the flying pattern. You think they are?
I think they are. Yeah, I'm seeing discounts, discounted airline travel. I'm reading about.
Really?
Car sales right now. I mean, I just read this morning that Ford is offering friends and family deals to anybody. You don't have to be an employee. You basically get the same price as a Ford employee. That tells you something, that maybe they're not selling as many cars as they have been, and they got to get rid of some. In preparation for things to get worse. But, also, I read this week that there was quite a bit of, changes coming to oil production here domestically.
Yeah.
Where, obviously we rely on a lot of other countries to import oil. We don't produce all of it that we need or that we use. And if that changes, that could be also a big factor in the cost of oil. So definitely prices are way down, and we did see it momentarily at the gas pump too, but now it seems like they've trickled back up again, which like I said, the markets right now, they don't know which way to go, and so that's why you're seeing these wild swings in the Dow and the S&P and the Nasdaq, and where it'll be down 1,000 points one day, up 1,000 points the next day, and it's just even within the day. Yesterday the markets opened on fire, as if, this thing is done.
1,300 points up.
By the end of the day, negative.
Yeah,
and so it's just really, really strange swings that we're seeing.
But it opened up, so it's not like it climbed up yesterday. It opened up and then it just kind of fizzled up from there. Yep. I don't love volatility.
Yeah.
I like, even though my life is chaos, I'm just running and flying everywhere all the time. I like the outsides to kind of be more calm, but at the same time, I also understand there's things at play that I don't understand.
Yeah.
And because I don't have a precursor to, an experience of what happens when you do this, because it's never really been done with this dynamic before. I see what they're trying to do, but I'll be honest, it scares me a little bit.
Absolutely. It's terrifying, and especially imagine being, if you're of retirement age now and you're about to hang it up and you see your portfolio value dip, 15, 20%. That would be terrifying.
Yeah. Those people in retirement age who are sitting heavy on stocks.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough because they're seeing those dips, and those dips compound because if you're relying on your portfolio performing at X% and now it's a down, and then the recovery time, you could be looking at 5, 6, 7 year recovery.
Right.
But if you're drawing from it, you
won't experience that. Right. Yeah, and actually we have some clients that are in that situation, as we speak. In fact, we have a closing tomorrow where the portfolio value dipped quite a bit, and we were relying on some of that income to qualify for the loan, and we had to revisit that literally yesterday, and we had to make some changes and update some things. And so, and that's in real time. Between a week from when we got the documents to what the value is now changed drastically. And we had to go back to the drawing table and kind of revisit it and say, okay, this is how much we need to take out instead of this amount in order to make it work.
So how does that work? So when there's a big change, the underwriters say, hey, wait a second, we're counting on investment income for this particular purchaser, this borrower.
So what happened in this case was between the last statement that we got and the updated printout that we got to get the clear to close to show that the withdrawal came out, or the withdrawal was actually pending, the value of the portfolio changed. So those two numbers no longer matched, and it was a big enough difference to where if you're of retirement age and you want to qualify for a home, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have a provision that you can set up a monthly distribution out of your retirement funds. And provided we show that you, A, did it, B, you have 36 months of continuance, we can count that as your income. So it's really helpful when people are of retirement age and, let's say I don't have a lot of debt, I don't have a lot of expenses, I don't need the income. Why take except for what's required to be taken? I don't want to pay taxes on it, right, for some of that. So it's a way for us to literally make up your income, but you have to show that A, you're willing to do it, B, that it can continue for 36 months. So if you're taking $10,000 out a month, you have to have at least $360,000 in that account.
So you can draw it to completion, or to depletion in 36 months.
We look at it for 36 months.
Wow.
And in this particular case, the account that we were drawing out of went below the 36 months. So we had to finagle, and so this is in real time, and these folks are, they're closing on their house, so they're happy. They'd already sold their house, so I don't suspect that they're going to need to continue that withdrawal because they have other funds, but it's just something that, like I said, this literally affected a buyer that's closing in the middle of closing, and so these wild swings are. Yeah, they're definitely kind of scary. So hang on tight. And I don't think it's over yet either.
I don't either.
We were talking about the tariffs, and I was just reading about, what the U.S. imposed 104% tariff on China. China responded by bumping up their current tariff levels from 34% to 84%. Well, when you got the number 1 and number 2 economies in the world going back and forth like this, it's crazy. That's a lot of money you're talking about, and it's going to be.
Both nations can withstand the temporary hurt for standing strong. So that's what makes it harder.
But that's where I don't know about that, because China's. I don't know if you followed the China real estate market bubble that collapsed here over the last couple of years. They don't really talk about it a lot, but China's had some major problems.
All right.
And they've been manipulating their currency for a long time.
Going back decades.
And they do a lot of things that kind of screw the American taxpayer. And so we'll have to see how it all plays out. But in my opinion, I think they need us as their consumers a lot worse than we need all their products.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is being missed in a lot of these conversations, is that the American consumers are the most willing to spend money.
25% of the world is here.
In one nation.
One nation.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's less than 1% of the global population.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So 7
something like
billion. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
0.5% of the population or something. And you can correct me if I,
Yeah, you're off a little bit.
Yeah, I could be off.
A couple percent. But yeah, anyways, it's okay. 2.5%.
It's something.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. 10% of the world population would be
700 million.
We're half of that.
Yeah.
So 1%.
Yeah.
Right? No. 10% would be 5%. Okay, we're 5% of the population. And
right, but I think
20% of the consumers.
People, yeah, right.
It's 8 billion now, right? Yeah.
Whatever. Anyways,
who knows?
2.5% of the population consumes 25% of the goods sold in the world.
Yeah. So other countries definitely need us.
Well,
and then China can live. I think China, though, and here's where I think China doesn't care about its people. So that's why I think it can be a loss leader. Just like Walmart can come in and say, okay, we're going to undercut everyone until they go out of business. China can kind of do that because they don't care enough about their people, in my opinion.
But they also have, well over 1 billion people. I think, I don't even know how I'm pushing. I think 1.5 billion people. And
they have to feed.
All of those people start really saying, hey, we're not going to put up with this, fix it. There's potential problems there.
Yeah, it's, what was the last time we saw that happen in China where the people really, was the 80s, Tiananmen Square?
Yeah.
Like, the Chinese people are afraid of their government.
True.
So I think they can kind of stave off their people a little bit longer than, let's say, our country can, where, we're already seeing protests, lighting up left and right.
Right. So what I find the most interesting, though, is, these were reciprocal tariffs that were imposed on countries that have tariffs against the U.S., which almost every country does, right? It's been, and we get it, I understand for some of the reasons why, protectionism, and you want to protect your industries and you want to protect your people.
Which has its place short term, I think.
I agree, but dude, you can't live like that forever as the United States, right? You can't be at a disadvantage against almost every country in the world. So this reciprocal tariff thing is really just like hey, in my opinion, let's come to the table and figure out a solution that works for us both. We are no longer willing to do what we've always done because A, we're $36 trillion in debt.
Yes.
B, our interest payment on that debt is our biggest expense now.
Right.
So we got that.
It's like 30% of the budget, right?
That's the problem. I don't think it's quite that much, but it's over 20.
You know how bad I am with percentages.
Yeah. But it's like one of those things that this has to be addressed. We are on the verge of insolvency as a country, as a nation, with this staggering amount of debt. And if you look at the chart of how much debt has increased over the last 20 years, it's and even worse over the last 10 years. It's just like you can't operate forever on a $2 trillion a year deficit. Right. And that's what we're doing right now. So I understand that, some people are upset with some of the cuts that are being made. My heart breaks for people losing their jobs and having to, figure all that out. But us as a nation financially, you can't go down that road forever.
No.
It's got to be addressed. And
it's
I
not
think
sustainable.
The way it's being addressed and getting countries to come to the table, it might not be the best method of doing it. It may not be, it seems like a big bully is coming in and shaking up the the school play yard and taking everyone's lunch money,
ripping the Band-Aid off.
But look what the result is. I was reading this morning that Israel has come to the table, Japan, the UK, the EU, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, India, South Korea, Australia, Argentina. I could keep going.
I heard there was like 70 countries came.
They're all calling up the White House and saying, hey, we want to negotiate. How can we, work together better? And I think the winner in all of that eventually is the American taxpayer.
I agree with you. The one thing I have a question of, and you probably know more about this than I do, is the reciprocal tariffs don't appear to me to be just purely reciprocal. I do believe they're weighted based on the trade deficit with any particular country. And I saw a formula last week that kind of says that's what it's doing. So it's basically taking the trade deficit
out of the picture
and applying a more more weight on those tariffs to try to equalize that deficit.
Right, and I did read that too, but I also saw some others that were like, hey, you charge us 10%, we're charging you 10%.
Sure.
You charge us 100%.
I thought it was half. I thought if they were 10, we were 5.
Yeah, for some of them it was. So again, there's been all kinds of numbers, flying around out there. I don't even know what's accurate anymore. But I do know that countries are, from what I'm reading, countries, and you saw it. I think Netanyahu was there, was over the weekend, a couple days ago, and he was saying how, we want to be a strong partner of the U.S. and we're willing to do whatever it takes, and I think other countries have done the same. Yeah. So again, long term, short term, it's nuts. I mean, you could see the wild swings in the markets, and you see, mortgage rates bounce from 6.5% to 7%, like it's no big deal, because the markets are looking for direction. Are we in a recession? Because in a recession, rates typically come down. But if we're going to have all these inflationary pressures because of the tariffs, you can't cut rates when inflation's up. So, again, I think it's going to all be very interesting to watch here. And I don't think this is going to be solved overnight. I think we're going to see some rocky road here, coming up, probably the next few months, maybe a year, but I think eventually, most of the countries that kind of are, holding out are going to eventually come to the table. I think, like you said, 25% of the world is here when it comes to spending.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
we're the biggest consumer.
And I don't want to take away too much of your talking points for your mortgage minute either. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get started right away on our market minute because it's been a crazy week. So here we go.
Stay on top of the market with Dick Barr's Market Minute.
Dick Barr's Market Minute.
Hello, this is Dick Barr, your host of Unlocking Lake County, here for the Market Minute for the week of Monday, April 7th, 2025. Starting with Antioch, where Antioch's had a big increase this week at $4.8 million in sales this week. Week-over-week increase is 67%, 40% over last month, and 20% year-over-year increase. Antioch sitting on a 1.5-month supply of inventory. The lowest sale price was $175,000 with a high of $718,000, and the median price of $399,900. Year-over-year increase is 8%. That's tracking with just about all the communities. Average marketed time for Antioch is 41.6 days. That's up from the 19 days in the prior 4 weeks. Antioch currently has 42 active listings, 13 new listings, 12 new contracts, and 5 closed listings in the past week. All tracks with the previous week. Now heading over to Volo, Fox Lake, and Ingleside, where they've experienced a $1.3 million in sales this week, which is a slight reduction week over week, about half as much as last month. Year-over-year increase, though, is 20%. Month supply of inventory is hovering below 1 month at 0.89. Lowest sale price was $159,000 with a high of $589,000 and a median sales price of $361,000, which is better than last year by 6%. Average market time in the area is 36.9 days, about double what it was 4 weeks ago at 18 days. The area's got 17 active listings, 6 new listings, 5 new contracts, and 4 closed listings. Now on over to Grays Lake and Wildwood, where they had $4 million in sales this week, which is 63% better than last week. Slight drop from last month and a year-over-year increase of just under 10%. Month supply of inventory is below 2 months at 1.8. Lowest sale price was $269,000 with a high of $700,000 and a median sale price of $450,000. Average market time in the area is 24 days, which is about twice as long as it was 4 weeks ago, where it was only 11 days. Active listings is 38. New listings is 6. New contracts is 8. And closed listings in the past week is 5. Now on over to Gurnee and Wadsworth, where they've slight drop from last week, a $2.2 million in sales this week. Month-over-month drop of just about half, but a year-over-year increase of 17%. Month supply of inventory is 3/4 of a month. Lowest sale price is $161,000 with a high of $735,000 and a median sales price of $382,000. Average market time is 37.8 days. Active listings is 18. New listings 4. New contracts is 6, and 6 closed listings this week. Now on over to our backyard of Lindenhurst and Lake Villa, where we had an impressive $4.6 million in sales, which is almost 100% better than last week. Drop in half from last month, but year over year, 23%. Month supply of inventory hovering at only half a month supply. Lowest sales price was $135,000 with a high of just under $600 and a median sales price breaking the $400,000 barrier at $408. 17 days is the average market time. 20 active listings, new 9, new contracts 6, and 7 closed listings this week. Now, to finish up with the Round Lake area, where they had $4.4 million in sales, slight tick up from last week, big drop 40% from last month, year-over-year increase of 13%, 0.8 month supply of inventory. $99,000 was the lowest priced home sold, high of $475,000 with a median sales price of $335,000. Year-over-year, that's 8% better than last year. Average market times, just over a month at 32.9 days. 23 homes sitting active on the market, 14 new listings this week, 13 new contracts this week, and 7 homes have closed and moved someone into their next dream. That's it for the week. Nothing crazy there other than the fact that the number of sales going under contract this past week has been far better than we've seen in recent history. And I know that's what's coming through your office, Sly. We saw a bunch of your client offers coming through our desk.
Oh, sure. That's good.
Yeah, you and Logan sending stuff over, so you guys are, I know you're busy.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of applications, lots of pre-approvals, contracts coming in. People are buying houses, man. That's really, and we're closing the loans, so we're happy with that.
Yeah, what is the right now with the maybe we should ask this when we do the mortgage man. I was going to say the volatility. If someone's pre-approved, and then the rates just shoot right back up, are you guys rushing to get them all reapproved on the new numbers, or do you guys have some kind of flexibility baked into the numbers?
We typically, I leave room for error. I learned a long time ago. I've been doing this 23 years, and I've gotten burned in the past, so I've learned a long time ago to leave a little bit of room for error just in case.
Yeah.
And also, when I'm pre-approving my buyers, I'm doing it at a higher rate. I'm not pre-approving because I'm not locking them into that. So again, if the national average is 6.5, I'll put 7% in my system just to make sure they're good. If between now and 60 days from now, when they find a house, and I set that expectation with them that, hey, look, this is not your rate, but this is what I'm running it through. When I issue your pre-approval, I put the higher rate on there so agents know that these people are good if rates crept up a little bit between the time I issued their pre-approval. So, yeah, we leave a little bit of room for error.
I mean, that's smart. And I know when we get our contracts, there's a spot to put in, like, the contingency, like what the rate is, pretty much maxed at. And I've seen a lot of people put it right at the existing rate. And I'll tell my sellers, I'm not comfortable with that, because if the rates pop up just a hair, then the contingency is dead, and they're no longer obligated to purchase.
Right, they could back out of the deal. So it's very smart to do that and keep an eye on that and keep track of what the rates are, and especially with these wild changes. I mean, I'm telling you, last Wednesday, we were getting 6.5, 6 3/8, and now we're back up to 7. So I mean, you're talking and it's still lower, but what happens is when rates dip, I don't know if you noticed it on social media. I mean, it was like every realtor I know was like slamming, hey, rates are low, time to buy, which is good. I mean, you want to drum up business and you want people to know, but it's just crazy how short-lived it was, and then all of the refi clients, like I have people coming in tomorrow that reached out about refinancing. And they purchased with me in 2023, so a couple years ago, and they're above 7%. And, they're going to come in. They wanted to wait till, a couple of days until tomorrow. And now it's going to probably be like, well, let's get all your information, but let's just kind of hold off. And we'll see what they want to do. They're in a position where they want to pay down their mortgage, too, because they had sold their house after they closed. But, it's just interesting how fast things change, and you got to be on top of it. Like your job is to monitor that and make sure you're protecting your sellers, and my job is to make sure I can deliver a loan and, get you close. So I'm never pre-approving someone at 6.25 when rates are 6.5.
It reminds me of the Saturday Night Live, South Park skit. I don't know if you ever saw it. Mm-hmm. The banking one, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, but you approved me for 6.25. Yep, it's gone.
I'm watching in real time right now. What do you think the Dow Jones Industrial Average is right now?
I'm going to say 38.3. 38,000.
39,867.
That's 2,000?
Since we started here, it's gone up 2,000 points.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. We just saved your 401ks.
You can't make this up, and that's what this volatility is. And who knows if it'll end there? We're not saying, that's the case, but just again, a 2,000-point swing, and we have been on the air for 27 minutes. And it literally in 27 minutes, the market's up 5.9% in 27 minutes. Unheard of. That's unheard of.
Something happened. And I'll bet you something happened with China. China probably said, okay, let's talk.
No.
What is it?
What I read was instead of a 104% tariff, we're going to 125, which basically means we're increasing it again, is what I'm reading in real time. Again, you can't
cause the market to go up.
But it means like we mean business.
It means we're standing strong and we're not going to back down.
We're not going to back down. So, again, wild swings that we're seeing. And it's comical that, you're talking tens of trillions of dollars. Just here you go, in a matter
that's because we spoke about it.
Yeah.
We spoke truth to power, and we brought it into the world.
You're welcome.
What's that? Think and Grow Rich?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I don't. Is that the name of it?
Nah.
Yeah, I think
manifesting, like the...
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich is the manifesting.
Yeah.
You speak it into the world, and it will come back to you.
Yes, the abundance principle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So...
Well, there you go. You're welcome, everybody.
You're welcome, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr will return in just a few moments after these important messages. Don't touch that dial.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Your favorite show right here on 98.3 FM.
98.3, The Life.
It's time for the weather.
This weather update is brought to you by Fidelity National Title Insurance Company. Grab your umbrellas, folks, because Mother Nature is bringing her A-game today. Expect rain showers to kick off your morning with a little mix of rain and snow in the afternoon and temps sliding from a brisk 41 to 36. Hold on to your hats, too. Winds will be sweeping around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 30. By tonight, the raindrops keep falling, mixing again with snow before patchy fog takes over. Temperatures will hover around 35, but edge up to 37. Winds ease off to a gentle 5 to 10 miles per hour, though gusts could still reach 20. Looking ahead to Thursday, a peak of showers and some patchy fog are on the menu, with skies staying cloudy and a sprinkle of rain here and there.
Unlocking Lake County.
98.3, The Life.
It's time for Unlocking This Day in History, brought to you by Harder & Shotland Law Firm in Round Lake Beach. Let's take a quick trip back in time to what happened. Today in history, we're setting the clock way back to 1865, when on April 9th, General Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse, effectively ending the United States Civil War. Farewell muskets, hello mom and pop shops. Fast forward to 1967, planning a little trip to outer space. It was on this very day that the first Boeing 737 took its maiden flight, and they said flying would never become convenient or commercial. Look at us now. Now, let's give a shout out to the techies of the 90s, when on April 9th, 1992, Microsoft released Windows 3.1, the operating system that taught a whole generation of computer users to love their floppy disks as much as their coffee breaks. And for the fashion-forward folks out there, in more recent times, April 9th, 2016, the world witnessed the launch of a spectacular fashion exhibition dedicated to the iconic David Bowie, reminding us all that music and fashion can indeed walk hand in hand down a very creative runway. So there you have it, folks. A dose of history to spice up your day. Thanks for tuning in, sponsored by Harder & Shotland Law Firm, making history and setting records rights for you. We will catch you next time.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Here's the top stories in real estate today. According to a report from Crane's Chicago Business, the Chicagoland area has recorded a significant uptick in commercial property sales in the last quarter. Real estate experts are noting that foreign investors are fueling this trend. showcasing renewed confidence in the region's market potential. Downtown Chicago, in particular, is seeing a surge in demand for office spaces, driven by the influx of tech firms and startups seeking modern, open environments. This revival could signal a turning point for Chicago's business districts post-pandemic. In residential news, per a story in the Chicago Tribune, Cook County's housing market remains tight despite an increase in listings. The median home prices continue to rise due to the sustained demand from buyers eager to capitalize on low mortgage rates. Realtors stress, however, that the inventory shortage is still a concern, keeping the competition fierce among prospective homeowners. Many sellers are receiving multiple offers, often above the asking price, highlighting the competitive nature of the current market. Shifting focus to Lake County, the Daily Herald reports that zoning changes are underway to facilitate the development of mixed-use projects. Local authorities aim to attract new businesses and enhance community spaces, making the area more livable and economically vibrant. These developments are expected to boost property values and appeal, encouraging more families and entrepreneurs to invest in the region. Lake County's effort to balance growth with community needs is being closely watched by neighboring counties. On a broader economic note, a Bloomberg analysis reveals that the Federal Reserve's decision to hold interest rates steady is likely to benefit the national housing market. While experts caution that inflation concerns remain, this stability in interest rates is expected to encourage more homebuyers to enter the fray, potentially spurring market activity further. This move by the Federal Reserve might give some respite to those looking to secure financing before any future rate hikes. Lastly, the Wall Street Journal highlights the global trend of sustainable real estate investments gaining traction. Investors are increasingly prioritizing properties that adhere to environmental standards, reflecting a shift towards greener living and building practices. This trend is resonating in Chicago as well, with developers incorporating energy-efficient technologies and sustainable materials into their projects. The demand for eco-friendly homes and offices is expected to rise, reshaping the landscape of future real estate developments. Our top stories are brought to you by the Dick Barr Group at Village Realty. That's it for now. We now return you back to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Unlocking Lake County.
98.3 The Life.
It's the best station on the radio.
Hey there, Lake County listeners. It's time for another mind-boggling segment of Weird But True in Lake County. Today, we're diving into a peculiar piece of our local history that's sure to surprise you. Have you ever wondered what's buried beneath your feet in Libertyville? Sure, we've all heard of some quirky artifacts being found underground, but this is something out of a movie plot. In the early 1940s, Libertyville was actually home to a Cold War-era Nike missile site, which was part of a larger U.S. defense strategy. But wait, it gets weirder. This wasn't just an ordinary missile site. Nestled inconspicuously beneath a suburban neighborhood, this site once housed actual missiles underground, ready to arise if duty called. The facility was constructed in such a way that an average passerby would never suspect a cluster of potentially lethal defense mechanisms literally lying beneath their feet. The installation was in operation for around 2 decades until it was decommissioned in the 1960s. Some of these sites, including Libertyville's, have now been repurposed or even turned into public parks. It's fascinating to think that missiles once lurked below what could now be your favorite picnic spot. What adds another layer of intrigue is that fragments of the missile infrastructure can still be found. Underground tunnels and silo covers, hidden and forgotten by time, give us a faint echo of a past that could have easily remained buried forever. Next time you take a leisurely stroll through the neighborhood, just remember, there might just be a world of history buried beneath your feet. Brought to you by the Sly Marinca team at CrossCountry Mortgage. Sly and his team can be reached at 847-722-1775. That's it for today's dose of bizarre history. Tune in next time for more Weird But True in Lake County. Stay curious, Lake County.
Welcome back to Unlocking Lake County with your host, Dick Barr.
Hello, welcome back, Lake County. This is Dick Barr, your host of Unlocking Lake County, here this week in the studio with Sly Marinca.
Hello, hello.
And so, for those of you who are just joining us, you know, when we started the show, the stock market was in the dumpster. And then over the 27 minutes of the first half hour, what happened, Sly, to the market?
It's at 40,109 right now.
It went up another 1,000.
Yep, we're up 2463 on the day for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 6.54%. increase in one day.
This is insanity.
Your 401k's back. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right? And that comes straight from Sly. He guarantees it.
We'll see what tomorrow brings, though.
Okay, Sly, let's get started on my favorite part of the show, the Sly's Mortgage Minute.
Here is the Mortgage Minute with Sly Marinca and CrossCountry Mortgage on Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
All right, everybody. So we'll get right into it. We have seen some crazy volatility here over the last week. As we were talking, we saw the 10-year Treasury yield dip below 4% last week for about a minute. But it was the first time in 6 months we saw that. And mortgage rates were following nicely. I think we saw the national average dip down to right around 6.5%. Obviously, with good credit, big down payment, or a lot of equity, that would be a little bit lower than that. With poorer credit or worse credit, it could be a little bit higher than that. But first time we saw rates that low in about 6 months without paying points.
Made for a nice weekend.
Made for a great weekend, yep. But then just as quick as it came in, it shot back up. We're currently looking at a 10-year Treasury yield of, well, it was 4.45 when we started the show, but it's 4.37 now. So
20 basis points in 10 minutes?
It's about 8 basis points.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's still big swings. And the mortgage-backed securities market is just getting clobbered right now. So effective today, the national average 30-year fixed is back to 7.01%. So about 0.5% difference in a week. Volatility, that's the name of it right now. Tariffs, we talked about the tariffs on China and China responding. Obviously, tariffs can cause inflation. And the markets don't like that. The mortgage rates don't like inflation. Rates go up when inflation goes up. So we're kind of in a pattern of huge swings, huge volatility. The Minnesota Fed president yesterday basically said the Fed is in wait and see mode, which doesn't give us any good indication of a rate cut coming up. I know we were talking recently about a potential rate cut in June. I think the probability of that shot up quite a bit when we saw these wild swings, when we saw the market sell off over the last week. But all bets are off now. We'll have to keep an eye on it, keep a close eye on it. We talked about oil prices being the lowest they've been since 2021. That's usually a kind of an indicator that something's going on. And definitely recessionary, but nobody's saying that word just yet. So what's going to happen tomorrow? I don't know. What's going to happen 10 minutes from now? I don't know. But it's interesting to keep an eye on. And, as far as pre-approvals, if you are pre-approved, you do want to make sure that, the higher rates aren't going to impact your pre-approval. So maybe reach back out to your lender and just, especially if you're looking at buying at the max. We have some buyers that, we'll pre-approve for $300 and they send me houses that are $315, $320, and
don't waste your time
trying to make it work. And, how can we do this? This is the house we have to have. But most buyers are not like that. Most buyers, I'll tell them you qualify for $400,000 and they're sending me houses that are $315, $325. They don't want to be house poor. So in general, that's most people, I would say. So if you are pre-approved, it is something that I would make sense to talk to your lender, make sure you're still good to go. If these rates stay higher, again, we saw 6.5 and now we're up to 7 in a very short period of time. And the market is in the market's in a tailspin right now, the mortgage-backed security market. So interesting times.
Sly, you had you were talking about like last week when the rates started to drop down and everyone and their cousin who's in real estate and mortgages were out there saying rates are low, act now. And it is somewhat comical, but the service to the community is actually important because if you think about it, the ones who listened and jumped in, they got in a half a percent advantage. It's like, how much would it cost them to buy a half a point down? A lot of money. Yeah. So by being able to act quick, it did create a very competitive buying week. There's no question.
And even last September, I don't know if you remember, but last September rates, when it was the first indication of a Fed rate cut, right before the Fed actually cut the rates in October,
It went down.
Crazy. We were in the 5s.
Yep.
And I had so many people call and say, hey, we're at 7.25. You got us last year. We want to refinance. Great. Let's go. Let's take your application. Well, we don't want to lock in yet. We think it's going to go lower. We don't want to lock in. And it's like, okay, well, and you know what? Out of all of those people, only one ended up closing because they did lock in. And the rest of them, I still have their files just kind of sitting patiently waiting. And we touch base every couple of weeks and say, hey, we're still right around here. Do you want to do it? No, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. So I think the expectation is that rates are going to continue to come down. But who knows? Who knows when that'll happen?
So how does that work? So let's say you get 50, let's say the rates drop to 5.9% right now.
Mm-hmm.
And your phone starts blowing up, you get 100 phone calls.
Yep.
Could you lock all 100 of them within a short-term period? Or is it possible that you could run out of time before everyone gets locked?
I mean, it takes time to get all their information in our system and run it through and I could probably do 10, 20 of them in a day, but...
Okay. So there is a time. So it behooves them to be, when those rates fall, to be the first person to call.
Right.
The guarantee, because if the rates drop significantly for a short time, you're constrained by the amount of time you have to accomplish these tasks.
Right.
Okay.
One other thing. So breaking news.
Oh no.
Because I'm like, my mind is boggled how this happened. In the short time we've been on the air, that we've seen this crazy swing in the market. And the breaking news on CNBC is that Trump did raise the China tariff to 125%. But he announced a 90-day pause for the others. So everybody but China gets 90 days to come to the table, and that's what the markets are reacting to, is that maybe this isn't going to be as... But boy...
So that 90% of the countries are going to give getting a reprieve.
All of the countries except for China are getting a 90-day reprieve.
Oh, okay.
So we're kicking the can 90 days down the road. We're not going to impose these, naughty tariffs on you. Let's try to figure something out between then and now. So again, I think this is a bargaining move. It's a bargaining chip here that's like, hey, we got this hanging over you. Come to the table and let's work something out where it's beneficial for the American taxpayer. The way he's doing it, though, is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
These swings are crazy.
I keep telling people, listen, I'm not smart enough to know if everything that's happening is right.
Right.
But I trust that there's people a lot smarter than me at the helm who are kind of advising and helping make those decisions.
Right. And my opinion is that we can't keep going down. And I've been saying this I've been saying this long before we started this radio show, but we can't keep going down the path we're going down. You can't borrow $2 trillion every year in perpetuity. At some point, you got to pay the piper.
Yeah.
And it's coming. That day is coming, and I would rather be kick that can down the road as far as possible.
Now, you know who Art Lafleur is, right? The Lafleur curve. Anyway, he was an advisor for Ronald Reagan back years ago, a pretty intelligent economist from what I understand. He came out and he endorsed this tariff plan.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people are saying, well, Reagan was opposed to tariffs, except very short-term protectionist policies. I think specifically was to help Harley-Davidson at the time, back in the 80s. And they were having trouble. He imposed this tariff that helped Harley-Davidson kind of retool, get back into place. Once they were back in position, he removed the tariff. So the protectionism was a very short-term cure. But Lafleur was what had a lot to do with the Reaganomics, the Reagan economy, and the excesses we experienced in the 80s. He came out and he endorsed the tariff plan, specifically because of things that you're saying right now.
Right.
That we're $36 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
We are the... I don't know a word that's not offensive to use, but we are we are the disadvantaged country in trade.
Yeah.
Everywhere across the globe.
Right.
And I just find it so ironic that people are going in, their minds are melting with the idea that we're just trying to level it.
Right.
Like, we're not going out there and saying it's 1,000% tariff, and you got to pay it. Otherwise, you won't deal with us. No, we're saying you guys are charging us 100, we're charging you 2. We just kind of want to make that a little bit more fair.
Yeah.
How's that?
Sure.
And it's the insanity that's ensuing. The misinformation that's flying out there is terrible.
Well, and again, I think a lot of it is the way the message is being delivered on, our media that, kind of says, oh, the world, the sky is falling, everything's so terrible, everything's, again, we're 37 actually trillion dollars in debt. As a country, you can't pay that back without making some drastic changes. One, increasing taxes, which none of us want. We already pay, we talk about it all the time. We're the highest tax county and the highest tax state in Lake County, Illinois. We don't want more taxes. I feel like I shouldn't pay more taxes. I already pay a lot.
Right.
So you're not going to tax your way out of this problem. You're going to either have to fix spending, which you try to cut, a budget here, a budget there, and everyone loses their mind on that. Something's got to give. You can't keep going down the road we're going on and expect good things. We're talking financial insolvency as a country. Our debt is going to be, it's terrible. I mean, it's going to be terrible if we keep going down that path. So,
but
unfortunately,
I have the solution, Sly.
Yes,
I do. While everyone is arguing about finances and politics, I would like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. We've got a guest just walked into the studio. Karen Shooks just walked in. I'm excited.
Yes.
This is the first time having a musical guest on the show. Because I think you.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, you and Sly are a perfect pair.
Yeah.
So Karen, she's our first musical guest to ever have on the show.
Yep.
And because I think music is the common denominator. I think it's the thing that ties us all together in all the local clubs, in all the lounges, whether it's the Vixen or the Sundance or even the local, the microbreweries that we have in town, like Black Lung, and it's where everyone gets together. So Karen, come on in when you're ready. Karen has been so nice to come on. She's going to come on. She's going to talk a little bit. We're going to find out what it's like to be a musician in the local scene.
Awesome.
What goes into it, and you came prepared to sing, right?
Just like the others.
No, come on.
Awesome. So I'm looking forward to this. So the full bit's going to be at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
And did you come prepared for a couple songs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Let me turn a mic on for you. I think I will. Are you right-handed or left-handed? So you right-handed. So, okay. So the guitar hole is on your right side. So, okay, your guitar will be 6 and your voice will be 7. So 7 will be your mic. So sorry, you walked in on this show where we started.
I listened on the way over and I was like, well, there's a lot of numbers.
Sorry, that's what we do here.
Napoleon Hill, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, Napoleon Hill, yes. Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, that's who wrote it.
There you go.
Yeah, sweet. See, we're not very smart. Usually Kristen's here to kind of help us with the facts.
Yeah.
But she's busy today, so it's just us dummies talking. So Karen's getting ready, and she's going to sit down and join us at the 1 o'clock hour. And we're going to hear a little bit about the music scene. We're going to get to hear some cool music. I love her vocal style. I watched a lot of your videos. I love that kind of that soul rock. And do you do Creep? You do. Okay. I don't know if you're prepared to do anything. I didn't say there was going to be requests. But I know I got a couple. I heard her voice. I'm like, oh, I'd love her to sing this. I want to hear her sing this. It's a beautiful
Good.
voice.
I'm excited for that.
You're on vinyl?
Cool.
Get out of here. Hold on. Let me turn the camera on to you. Okay, hold that. To the center camera. So that's your LP. Awesome. And how many songs is on there? 12 songs. Is it double-sided?
Yes.
That's cool. So that's what I miss the days of vinyl. I really like it.
It's coming back.
It is.
Oh, it's back, baby.
Hey, hold on. Bring that microphone
It is.
closer so people can hear you.
I said it's back, baby.
Oh, there we go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're gonna. I do want to ask you, Sly.
Yeah.
From a mortgage perspective.
Yep.
If people are going to be shopping this weekend, can they get under contract this week and not lock in right away on their mortgage application? So if they think rates are going to come down again in a week or two, can they still get under contract and then wait a little bit to lock in?
Absolutely. Most lenders, including us and everybody I've ever worked for, does have a float option where we will take your application and we'll approve you at a higher rate to make sure that you qualify in the event that rates do go up, and then you can lock up to 1 week before your closing. So if your closing is, and I have lots of clients that are doing that right now.
1 week before closing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really?
So if you get a 60-day, I have clients that are closing in June that are, we're not going to lock, 90 days. The longer term your lock is, the higher the rate is, the worse the pricing is. So the shorter term, so even sometimes waiting till you're 15 days out, that difference in pricing, can, but you're also at the risk of what if rates go up, right? So that's why we're approving you at the higher rate when you elect to float.
Gotcha. So if you don't lock until closing, you could screw yourself.
You could screw yourself, correct. So it's a gamble, right? So that's how we kind of tell our clients, hey, look, this is what the rate is today. If you're happy with that, you could go ahead and elect to lock your rate. Otherwise, if you want to kind of wait and play the market really and see, and a lot of times they say, well, what would you do? And it's like, this isn't my money. I can't give you advice on what to do. All I could tell you is, this is what and you could look it up and see what the trends are. But, it's not, I'm really not able to tell you what to do in that. I can't do that, right? Because you would hate me if, rates shot up 0.5%, like we saw in the last week, right?
Right.
And now your mortgage payment is $150
but you said
more. Yeah, nope, we don't play that game. I've been doing this way too long to know to gamble with, people's livelihoods.
We get that question a
money.
lot. What would you do? Would you buy this house? I'm like, hell no. Why not? Why not? Well, it's because it's ugly as hell. Why would I want that house? No, but I don't have to live here.
Yeah.
Do you like this house? And if you like this house, then the answer is you should buy it.
Right.
But it makes sense from the sake of, they want that protection from someone who understands and knows. But it's just as with finances. People say, well, will I have any tax ramifications here? I don't know, because I don't know your finances.
Right.
I'm not licensed to give you financial advice.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you the one that's worse than that for us is when someone does, and we get it in writing all the time, yes, please lock me in at this rate. And then what happens if they see on the news, 2 weeks later that the rates are lower, and they call and then I have to remind them, hey, look, remember we had this talk and you could have floated and see, but now, as soon as a mortgage lender locks you in, they're paying for that. It's not just like, oh, okay, we'll lock you in, and if it gets better, we'll relock you in. There are instances, and this. And
you don't charge that. You don't pass that charge on to them.
Nope. It's all. We cover that fee to secure that rate for them in the event that rates go up. You're good. But when rates come down, we can't just cancel that and repay to redo it. You'd go out of business if you did that.
Right.
B, we get special pricing from our investors because we don't do that. So if you do it too much, they keep track of that, and
really?
and
kind of like a chargeback with a restaurant,
right? So it is frustrating though when we get someone that, well, we saw the rates went down and we want the lower, and I get it, I would too, but I have it in writing from you that you're telling me you want me to do this for you, and. You got to be careful about this too. So I have literally lost clients before because, a competitor or another lender will tell them, oh, well, we have a free float down option where if you're in the process and rates come down, we'll get you a lower rate. And it sounds good, but every lender has that. We actually have a float down option, but I'm not going to tout it because rates have to move a ton for you to be able to exercise that float down option. It's usually 100 basis points, which
when does that happen?
We saw this wild swing here in the last week, and that's 0.5%. That's not a percent, which is 100 basis points. So again, not to get too nerdy, but you never want to base because I've had clients before that my rate is better and my fees are lower, but this other guy can give us a float down if rates come down, and they've gone with that other guy, and it's like I've often wanted to call them and be like, so did you ever float down?
Yeah, right. So how'd that work out for you?
Because it just doesn't happen. It's unreal. It's disingenuous to tout that when it really never happens. It's very, very rare. So
We're getting a little bit more volatility on the Dow.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
I'm
Drop
keeping
it back down to 38.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on it here. I'm at 39,953.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I reported 38,877. Maybe you pay for those real time stuff.
Yeah, I don't, but yeah, I'm seeing 39 as of 1:56 p.m. So
Well, that was a minute ago. So
and now it's up to 40,000 again.
get out. Jesus.
Yeah.
Everyone
Sorry.
listening, don't worry. We're not talking numbers anymore starting at 1 o'clock. We're going to
We're done. We're going to listen to music.
Yep.
Yes.
It's all feelings.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, Christin, oh boy, Christin, you missed the feelings show.
Yeah.
You would have she had clients coming in from out of town, and so she had to go show them some properties.
Yeah.
But she's the empath amongst us.
Yes.
Oops.
In the morning,
Yeah.
afternoon show.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
The three of us. Well, in the last few months, we've had a guest almost every week, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a 4 or 5-some,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are just about to take a break, but I want to make sure that I've got the camera set up here too. So,
Yep.
So are you
I
comfortable
was
sitting?
wondering. I almost didn't brush my hair.
Why
I was
not?
Like, oh shoot! But wait. For the record, I saw those shoes that you posted, the Skechers.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh.
The $1 million house. I saw that too. That was very funny.
I'm gonna say a prayer. I'm gonna rethink this. Okay. And then I thought, he must have been loved so well as a child that he feels comfortable to post those shoes and to
Yeah.
admit that he did wear them in public to a $1.3 million house. Or was it $3.1 million?
There
I
was
don't know.
1.3.
What does it matter? It could have been a $153,000 house.
I'll be honest. I am super comfortable. I
appreciated that. That's why I was like, he's very secure.
Oh
I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. But at the same time, when I posted that, my wife was like, I don't think she
What
could
are
have
you
been more
doing?
embarrassed. Like, dude, she says, after the radio show today, can you please
If you could
go
just
buy
delete that
shoes?
post and buy some shoes.
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe
Hey.
3 pairs. Just
My
keep
wife
it safe.
is awesome though. She puts up with so much.
Did you
So
get the
much.
deal though? Is my question because you never posted.
So we got outbid. Yeah. Tell you, the market is crazy at every level.
It was the shoes.
It couldn't have been the shoes because the seller didn't know my
They didn't
shoes
see it.
It
smelled.
was about the energy, though.
Oh,
It was about
the energy, that's right.
You
aura.
brought the energy there. That's the energy that was brought. I'm sorry. I know I just got here and we just met. I don't want to be rude, but
I'm wearing them
also
right now.
your wife seems like a lovely woman.
She's
and
awesome.
I'm with her with the shoes. Please buy some shoes.
Yes, there you go.
One of my clients. So we just got his house. He built a new construction house on Orchard in Country Walk, a $425,000 house. We listed it last weekend. It sold this weekend. I posted the shoes. He commented on the post. He goes, "Dude, what shoe size you are? I'll buy you shoes."
See?
Oh well. Okay.
It was a very secure post. You're very secure in yourself. I appreciate that.
So if you dig deeper into my Facebook, you'll see I don't have a filter.
Yes.
I am kind of, yeah. I get texts all the time from people who are like, "Thank you for saying that," because we're not stupid enough to say
Yeah.
that, but that's how we
Right.
feel.
You're
Right.
like, that's why I
Yeah.
have a radio show, so everyone can hear.
Exactly.
Got to get the word out.
The excuse me. So we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm excited. We're going to have Karen Shook in the studio. Karen Shook is what would you call yourself? You would call yourself a soul rocker.
I would say Americana, but I have a lot of different influences. Sometimes when I get in front of a mic, I get some twang. When I was 2, we moved to Oklahoma.
really?
Those were my formative talking years. I was born on the south side of Chicago.
Boy, you
but
just picked up that accent.
Oh, yeah.
Like nothing.
Whoa.
That was
Broken
awesome.
Arrow.
It's like
Yeah.
Winona Judd just walked in.
But yeah, that's deep inside of my spirit. So
Yeah.
I would say Americana.
Americana. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I really appreciate this, and I'm hoping this takes off.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
We're so happy to have you, and I hope this takes off. I want all the local talent to come in here and
Yeah.
come in,
It's awesome.
show us what you got. Tell us where you're playing. Let's get people out to see you, hear you, and all the local clubs. So, we will be right back after these words.
Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr will return in just a few moments after these important messages. Don't touch that dial.
This is Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
It's time for the weather.
This weather update is brought to you by Fidelity National Title Insurance Company. This afternoon, expect a little dance between rain and snow showers as we head into a cloudy day with the high peaking near 41, dropping to about 36 by the afternoon. Winds are taking a stroll at 10 to 15 miles per hour, some gusts reaching up to 25. Downpour lovers, rejoice. 100% chance of soaking with up to half an inch of rain. Tonight, it's the classic duo of rain and snow showers before things turn foggy. Clouds reigning supreme as temperatures play around 35 to 37 overnight. Winds ease to 5 to 10 miles per hour, but gusts could surprise you at 20. Get ready for another quarter to half an inch rain time. And for tomorrow, look forward to a cloudy day with just a bit of fog and chance showers.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
You guys have a great radio station. You just play the best music.
It's time for Unlocking This Day in History, brought to you by Harder & Shotland Law Firm in Round Lake Beach. Let's take a quick trip back in time to what happened. Today in history, we're setting the clock way back to 1865, when on April 9th, General Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse, effectively ending the United States Civil War. Farewell muskets, hello mom and pop shops. Fast forward to 1967, planning a little trip to outer space. It was on this very day that the first Boeing 737 took its maiden flight, and they said flying would never become convenient or commercial. Look at us now. Now, let's give a shout out to the techies of the 90s, when on April 9th, 1992, Microsoft released Windows 3.1, the operating system that taught a whole generation of computer users to love their floppy disks as much as their coffee breaks. And for the fashion-forward folks out there, in more recent times, April 9th, 2016, the world witnessed the launch of a spectacular fashion exhibition dedicated to the iconic David Bowie, reminding us all that music and fashion can indeed walk hand in hand down a very creative runway. So there you have it, folks. A dose of history to spice up your day. Thanks for tuning in, sponsored by Harder & Shotland Law Firm, making history and setting records rights for you. We will catch you next time.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Here's the top stories in real estate today. First, in Cook County, a report from the local housing authority reveals a surge in affordable housing developments. The county has approved several new projects aimed at providing residences for low-income families. This initiative is part of a broader plan to address the housing crisis affecting many parts of the Chicagoland area. The projects are expected to begin construction early next year and provide crucial relief to many residents facing housing instability. Next, in Lake County, the real estate market is experiencing a significant shift, according to a recent story in the Regional Business Journal. A wave of young professionals moving away from urban centers has fueled demand for suburban homes. This influx has led to an increase in home prices, with the median price rising by almost 10% over the past year. Real estate agents are reporting a competitive market, with homes receiving multiple offers within days of being listed. In McHenry County, there is a notable trend in sustainable housing. According to a recent article in an environmental news outlet, a new housing development has been recognized for its green certification. The project employs solar panels, energy-efficient appliances, and recycled building materials. This development aligns with a growing desire among buyers for environmentally friendly homes, offering amenities that reduce carbon footprints and promote sustainable living. Shifting focus to the broader United States real estate market, a new analysis published by a national housing journal suggests that rental prices continue to rise. Many major metropolitan areas are seeing double-digit increases in rent. This trend is largely attributed to high demand, low supply, and escalating costs of construction materials. Economists warn that these sustained high prices could impact affordability for many renters in the coming months. Finally, on the international front, there is exciting news from the global real estate stage. As reported by an international financial news service, Dubai's real estate market has rebounded strongly post-pandemic, with luxury properties in high demand. A significant number of high-net-worth individuals are investing in luxury real estate, boosting...
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County.
Unlocking Lake County
With Dick Barr. 98.3 The Life.
Welcome back to Weird But True in Lake County. Today, we've got a whopper of a story rich in history and mystery right here in Lake County, Illinois. Ever heard of the Volo Bog? This natural wonderland isn't just any bog. It's a floating peat bog, the only preserve of its kind in all of Illinois. Most people don't expect to find such a strange and eerie place in our own backyard. This bog is thousands of years old and floats on a lake below, supported by a thick mat of sphagnum moss, decaying plants, and ancient muck. Walking through Volo Bog is like stepping back into the Ice Age, an untouched relic of a wilder time. As you stroll on the trail, vegetation sways beneath your feet due to the floating surface. Truly strange and entirely true. The Volo Bog itself is said to hold secrets, with tales of unusual sightings of mysterious lights and strange wildlife. It's a place where reality and myth blur, fostering local legends of eerie happenings. Some say they've even encountered ghostly figures wandering through the mist on particularly foggy days. But hey, it's weird but true, so it must be just one of those things left to the imagination. Now, as you let that story seep into your brain like the bog's murky waters, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Brought to you by the Sly Marinca team at CrossCountry Mortgage. Sly and his team can be reached at 847-722-1775. Keep your ears open for more quirky tales, because in Lake County, you never know what's lurking just beneath the surface. Stay curious, friends.
Welcome back to Unlocking Lake County with your host, Dick Barr.
Hello, Lake County. This is Dick Barr, your host of Unlocking Lake County, here with Sly Marinca from the Sly Marinca team at CrossCountry Mortgage.
Hello, hello.
And we have a new special guest. Not new. Actually, anyone listening before the break, she's not new.
I've been here for 49 years on Earth. Thank you very much.
49?
Yeah.
Get out.
I can't. I'm here.
Wow.
Ain't going anywhere.
So Karen Shook. Karen, are you mostly a solo artist, or are you in a band too?
I do both. Mostly I am a solo artist for a couple different reasons. I do, thankfully, I'm so grateful that I'm a full-time musician and I play a lot of shows. And so the venues I play, generally, they hire solo acoustic or duos. Sometimes I play with a few different people. And lately, it's very exciting. I'm the second of 11 kids, and most of us play music. Wow. My older sister is an accountant. She doesn't sing that great.
First child.
Listen, you got to do the admin. All right, we're going to handle the music. But yeah, so mostly solo.
Is it Irish Catholic family?
Well, that's a really long story. I know we only have an hour. Irish Catholic. Both of my parents are from the south side of Chicago, and they were both raised Catholic. And my whole life, I was told that I was Irish because my grandma. And not that long ago, just in the last few years, my mom went to Luxembourg and met her family, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I'm Sicilian.
Yeah.
Really not even Irish. But I'm like,
I was going to say, was it 23andMe, or because that's happening a lot with the
it wasn't
Ancestry DNA.
23andMe did confirm everything, but my mom going to Luxembourg and meeting my grandfather's family and this and then. All right, you're Sicilian. Okay.
You do look Italian, though.
Yeah.
It explains,
there's no big surprise.
Explains a lot. I'll handle it, all right?
Now you're good.
that explains Uncle Vino.
Yeah.
He knows a few things about a few things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so what got you into music?
Well,
because you're obviously
my mom. So
your mom.
I'm actually, I don't know if you noticed or not, I'm very shy.
Mm-hmm.
I worked through it. I worked through it a lot. But when I was about 3 years old, I remember being in the hallway. We lived in southern Illinois. We had just moved back from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And my mom told me that I was a good singer. And I believed her. And I sang all the time. So my parents had a church. And it was not like, ooh, it was like, we had drums and like tambourines. And we were rocking.
Interesting.
Anyway, so I sang at
and no
church.
Catholic church I've ever been to. Maybe Baptist.
No, after that, they got the Catholic thing that was so last
Once they found out they were Italian, they said, screw them.
Yeah, we're out.
No, but so my mom told me I could sing, and I started singing in church, and she pushed me out into it, and gosh, I could talk about this for a long time, but super random segue. When I was in high school, my very, very best childhood friend, Beth Bosworth, she was murdered. And when that happened, I already had a guitar, I already had a writing practice, and I already knew like the power of what would happen if I transmuted my pain into music, and I sang and I wrote and I made songs, and that's when it shifted for me. And that was in 1993. And she still comes to me in dreams sometimes, and once in a while she'll just say a couple things like, hey, you know, here's this, look over there. She'll point at pictures. I was just telling my mom this yesterday, that sometimes Beth will come to me in a dream and just point at a picture, and I can see this picture, and then I'm like, okay. Because it's hard, you know, just to be alive. Yeah. If we're just being honest, I mean, it's awesome. Like, we don't want to sound ungrateful, like, oh, this sucks. You know, we don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. But also, it's hard. I heard you earlier, the mortgage rates, the Dow. I don't know what these numbers are, but it doesn't sound good. Yeah. The interest, I don't know.
Last week we had
6.9, 7.2, who knows?
Yeah. I wish 6.9.
Yeah.
We last week we had a guy on the show. He lost his son 8 years ago.
Terrible.
And he was talking about how he sees he sees his son around in different ways. Sometimes it's in the personified version of him. Sometimes it's as a butterfly and kind of leading him somewhere, directing him somewhere. So you're not the first person to kind of open up about that.
I mean, that's love. And, like, love can be so painful, but, like, that what you just said, like, that is, in essence, that is love. And I feel like when we're able as humans, and I still struggle even now, even though I've been playing music. I started playing guitar when I was 15, and I started singing when I was 3, and I've been doing this for so long, but sometimes it's easy to get lost in what's happening in life and to forget and to not remember that, you know, the essence of everything is love, and that's what it all comes back to. And I think that music is such a powerful force that connect us to that.
Yeah. It's a common denominator. Mm-hmm. It's like, no matter what your belief is on anything, no matter what the stock market's doing, when you hear Janis Joplin start singing Bobby McGee, we all get down.
Yeah, you know what? Then it's all good, and then, it's okay. And that's why sometimes, like, if I think about, like, when I was driving here and I was listening to you guys on the radio, I'm like, oh, God, I'm so glad I'm not there right now, because I don't know about this, whatever they're talking about. I'm just like, I'm over here in the corner just sucking my thumb. I'm like, I'd like a sandwich. Do you guys have any meatballs? I'm hungry. I don't know. Maybe we could do some hula hooping. I almost brought a hula hoop. I'm glad I didn't, because there's not enough space.
No, not enough space to hula hoop here.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The bathroom's big. I could
the
probably
bathroom's
hula
big.
hoop
The
in the
bathroom's
bathroom.
bigger than the studio. Sometimes when this studio's full, we go into the bathroom and we have the show out there.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Never that big.
Okay. All right.
Never that many people in here.
No filter, and I know, like, it's so hot right now. People are like, I'm autistic. No, I'm autistic. Here's what
I'm more autistic than you.
Well, we're going to do a challenge later.
Okay. Yeah, well, I want to hear about this.
I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to figure it out. Where was I?
I don't know, but you got a great energy. I can see why you're a musician, though.
I went off over there. I was like,
yeah, that's not autism. That's ADHD.
Well, I do have, that.
I've got it. Like, that's what keeps me up at 3 in the morning trying to do.
Asperger's is so out right now. They don't diagnose people with Asperger's anymore. That's like the OG.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. So I'm like, I identify with Asperger's.
Yeah, I you know.
ADHD, definitely hyper.
And does it serve you well in music?
Yeah. I almost said a swear word. I prayed on the way over. I was like, Karen, you're not going to swear.
Wait, you prayed to Karen?
You're not going to swear. I was talking to myself.
Oh, okay.
Prayed to Jesus and everyone else in the car on the way over not to swear. So, I'm sorry, what?
I don't remember. I don't remember what we were talking about. What show are we on now?
Yeah, I had no idea.
This is awesome. You're a lot of fun.
The life.
So okay, let's get back to getting into music. So you've got a very distinct, soulful voice. So where did that come from? Did that come from church? Did that come from who you listen to? Did it come from just that's what naturally comes out of your mouth when you open it?
I think, like, the first thing that popped in my head was that's what happened when I became comfortable with myself, because for so many years, like, I can listen to my recordings of myself from different periods of my life and like, oh God, I sound so weird and that's not me and I hate that. You know what I mean? But if I am completely unleashing, and I remember, so I have 3 sons. Yeah. They're 15, 17, and 28. Amazing, amazing humans. I'm so grateful for them. When they were babies, all of them, I sang a lot. And those were the times when it was just me and them at home where I could completely just let go. And it didn't matter. I wasn't concerned with, am I too nasal? Am I using my chest? Am I using my belly right now? How am I breathing? Oh my God, am I okay? Are we okay? It didn't matter. So I feel like that time where I was at home with them was where I got to the point where I was comfortable with my voice. And honestly, still sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? Is this okay? And then I remember, hey, I paid all my bills this month with singing, so I guess it's okay, right? It's okay. Sometimes we're not sure, even after everything, you know?
Do you do voice work too?
I have.
Yeah, I could hear the voice work.
I never tried to. Anytime I have done that, it just kind of like dropped in my lap. I met a guy at Jewel in Skokie about 25 years ago. We ended up living together. I call him the Russian producer for anyone who knows me. The Russian producer, Janechka. Anyways, he did a lot of studio work and worked at a studio downtown. And if there was any like, we need a Russian voice or we need like someone to sound like, I almost swore again. Every time I catch myself, I'm like, you are doing such a good job, Karen. Yes. Okay. Anyways.
So Russian producer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's hear your Russian voice.
Da, spasiba. His mom is like, so this is what you're doing with your life.
Oh, it's just like Natasha.
It's funny, yeah. So
it's a very deep-throated Russian woman.
Not
very handsome woman.
Yeah, I got confused about my German. Anyways, yeah.
My daughter will appreciate that. She's dating a guy from Russia.
Nice.
Yeah, and she speaks Russian. My daughter, she's 17 years old. She speaks almost fluent Russian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Did she learn that in school?
No, she just does things.
Does it on
like
her
she's
own.
like, I want to learn Spanish. She became fluent. She's a certified bilingual.
Good.
Same thing with Russian.
Wow.
You know what? This is why she's an empath. She didn't like that there were kids who were in her school, that couldn't communicate with any of the locals because they didn't speak the language. So she learned Russian because she wanted to be able to help them fit in.
Wow.
And me, I'm like, learn the language, damn it. Why'd you speak in English? Okay, so before we go too deep, because this is fun, you're a fun interview. What do you got lined up? What can we sing to start off?
I actually, generally, I don't plan for these things. As far as the songs go.
I like that. That's how our whole show is.
Because I don't know what's going to happen or how we're going to feel. So I usually just pray. I pray that there's a symbiosis of love and hope between me and the people around me, and that whatever I should play, that we will feel most loved and hopeful come into my brain. The right time.
And when we're done, we don't have to you're not going to make us feel Kool-Aid or anything, right?
I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
So do you normally sing songs you wrote, or is it for the most part, or is it some cover, a mix?
It depends. Generally covers, because where I'm playing, the places
right, they don't want to hear
restaurants.
What
they
is
want to
this?
feel good. They want to feel good. You don't want to hear my despair from yesterday.
Yeah, but we do. We want to hear your despair.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do.
No, but generally a lot of covers, and I do. This is a funny thing. Random thought. So many musicians, they use iPads and they use music to look at, and electronics are so useful, and I'm so grateful I have a GPS. Otherwise, I don't know how I would get to these places without a driver.
Sure.
Thank you, Jesus. Anyways, I loathe reading things and singing when I'm reading, because I feel like there's a disconnect, and it's completely different. So that being said, I could sing I don't know how many thousands of cover songs if I just read them, but I choose to just do what's inside of my head.
Sure. Okay. So, that makes sense. So that makes a lot of sense. What's funny? So I was a musician at one time in life. I played the piano, and up until the point I was like 20, I learned 1 million songs. Well, maybe not 1 million, maybe a little bit less.
It felt like 1 million, probably.
It felt like 1 million. And my parents felt like it was 1 billion. Like, it's like, oh my God, shut up already, Richie. But then I stopped learning songs. And so now I've got to read, and it's not enjoyable to read and play because you're not being emotive, you're not being creative, or I understand the disconnect you're talking about. 100%.
You know, it just feels different. And for the record, I actually don't read music.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I mean, but just like looking at like lyrics or looking at the chords.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, cool.
I had a guy not that long ago tell me, like, you don't know that much on guitar. And I'm like, I know it's weird that I can pay my bills like this, isn't it?
But wait a second.
Yeah, hey.
We've all seen the bands who, like, you know who does this good? Justin with the Modern Day Romeos. Modern Day Romeos, they go out there and they do the 3-chord song, right? And it's
Three
like
chords and the truth, baby.
right. It's all the same chord, and there's like 37 songs,
And it's so fun.
And it's exactly
So
it's,
fun.
It's a cool bit.
Yeah.
There's not that much to it. It's chord, chord, chord. As long as you know how to put them together.
It's the rhythm.
Yes.
The rhythm
I
is
agree.
everything.
And growing up, I had a really good friend that could play one song on piano, but he would tear it up, and it was the MacGyver soundtrack, the MacGyver theme song.
Oh, really?
Wait,
And
can you do the MacGyver theme song?
I can't, but he would tear it up,
No,
and
I
everybody.
wish I could. I can't remember. I'm like, is it like do do? It feels like there's a lot of like do 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 do. No, I don't know.
It sounded really good on the piano, but that was and he taught himself to play it. That was the only song he could play, and people would think like he's a pianist, and they'd be like, no, he just taught himself to play the one song, but he did it really, really well.
That's
I would
really
do
cool.
this one every day, every time.
Yep.
Okay.
Only
so
song.
Let's get a song in. So,
Yes.
Sly, can you help
I
her
can, sure.
position this the number 6
Are
microphone?
we gonna do that for the guitar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although we were going to have you sing into it in stereo, so like 2 mics, so we have
good.
left and right.
I love it.
I don't know if that's close enough. Can you play a couple of strums? Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna set up the camera situation.
Oh yeah, you got it. Yep.
You want me to help?
Promotion all the way, because that's right. You know, that's really what we're here for. We're here to entertain, but we're also here to let everyone know what kind of talent we've got here, and it's worth leaving your house to go experience the community.
I got a lot of hula hooping videos on my phone though, so hopefully it doesn't shut off. Your camera's full of hula hooping videos in the kitchen, because movement is life. So I'm gonna sing you a song that I wrote. This one's called "Let the Rain." I wrote it about 7 years ago. I was living in Northern California at the time. It was very dry. It was like literally dry because there was a drought, and it was dry in my spirit, and I felt terrible. And this is one of those times where I started playing, and it helped. Rain come pouring down now. Let the rain wash over us all. Let all the goodness, the kindness, the bold charity come out and through. Sit on the porch, watching the rain. I'm singing my songs now. I have to drop my babies at school. I could stay here forever, breathing my truth and feeling good. Let's feel so good, yeah. Now let the rain come pouring down now. Let the rain wash over us. Oh, oh, oh. Let all the goodness, the kindness, the bold charity come out and through. Watching news is nothing new, but I respect the bold ones for speaking the truth. There's power in the people who stand together, yeah. I know change is coming and it's gonna be huge for me and you. Let's feel so good, yeah. Now let the rain come pouring down now. Let the rain wash over us. Oh, oh, oh. Let all the goodness, the kindness, the bold charity come out and through. Oh, Watching news is nothing new. I respect the bald ones for speaking the truth. Yeah. Well, I know change is coming and it's gonna be huge for me and you. Let's feel so good, yeah, and let the rain come pouring down now. Let the rain wash over us. Oh, oh, oh. Let all the goodness, the kindness, the bold charity come out and through. Feel good, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Ooh, oh, 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 yeah. Let's feel good.
Wow. That was incredible.
You feel it. There's
Yeah.
conviction there. You mean what you're
I
singing.
got a lot of feelings. Now's
Yeah.
a good time to talk about this.
You mean what you're singing. I love that.
My album.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Mood Swings, Part 17.
Okay.
Now it hasn't
So
hurt,
that is that song that
it
you
hasn't
just did?
hurt my dating life at all. The fact that it's called Mood Swings,
Mm-hmm.
Part 17. Men still ask me out.
That's got to be tough in your field. I got to imagine the guys hanging out after the bar closes.
It's not easy. Well, okay. It's not easy in some ways. I mean, not easy meaning like I'm actually well, I guess it's not that surprising. I'm an artist. I'm sensitive.
Sure.
So, yeah, the energies, I feel so grateful every day. I feel so grateful that I have the ability here where we live, that there's enough places for me to play that I can actually make a living like this. It's not lost on me. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I really am. And I tried a long time to be able to do that. But, yeah, it's weird. It's also weird.
So, often because, part of the show is it's real estate focused, right? And so Christin, she's a real estate agent. She's usually in here. And as a female realtor, going out, meeting people alone.
Yeah, she's got probably
Strangers.
weapons. She's got a shiv in the boot.
Right?
I get that.
Yeah. And
100%.
it's not easy being a girl in any field, especially where there's alcohol involved, right? And not that there's a lot of alcohol in real estate, but there's some.
Hey, oh, I'm sure.
But
The good old
so
days.
you've
Gotta
got.
do it, right?
Does it ever rise to the sake of it being a problem?
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to connect to the audience, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make that
100%,
connection. How
yes.
easy is it that to misinterpret? Oh, she loves me. She made eye contact with me.
Yeah. I think now at this point, and being single, I think it's easier. I mean, it's not easier for me because as a human, we all need connection.
Right.
So it's not my goal in life to be single. But being single, it's different because I'm so grounded in my own energy at this point that I don't feel this sense of, I don't know. I got lost there for a second. I got a little too deep and I looked at my phone. I'm like, am I still recording? Where are we right now?
We do that all the time. It's okay.
It's just, it's a challenge, and having sons too. And it's, it's weird, but I think that because of the fact that I feel grounded as a mom, and I feel grounded at real talk, no matter what, when I am driving to a gig, I pray always. And I'm not religious because of the fact, I think, because I was a pastor's kid. I'm not a religious
That's
person
super
because of the
interesting.
dogma. But I am very spiritual, and I pray for protection, and I know that my angels are protecting me. And I know that we're all here. Like, you guys are here for a purpose on earth just like I am. And I know that I'm here right now for a purpose because there's so much pain in the world and we need to feel so much love. So I know there is a balance between that. And I know that there's going to be my perfect protector man out there one day who's just going to show up, and it's not going to be weird or creepy or anything.
I love when the little Southern accent comes out.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. I think that as long as I stay grounded and shielded with my energy, you know, maybe a switchblade, some pepper spray don't cross me. I have 7 brothers.
Yeah, and you got that.
Yeah.
You've got that Italian, used to be Irish vibe,
Right.
you know, so people
I
know
was
that.
Irish for most of my life.
Right, until you weren't.
And then we just found out like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's kind of from Boston. I don't even know.
What does a week of gigs look like for you?
It depends on the month because, and also very strangely, interestingly, so like I think I mentioned already, I was living in Sonoma County and I moved back here, and then the COVID happened.
Yeah.
Within the next year, and then it was just like, and I was when I moved here, I was just starting the groundwork of establishing myself. So I'm always just like, I don't really know what's going on. Are we okay? Is this fine? In the summertime, I might do 7 gigs in a week.
Wow.
I might do 2 gigs in a week in the winter, or I might do none in the winter. Yeah. So it's like a sock it away type of situation.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, in our business, we understand that.
You know, you're just like, hey.
Feast or famine.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? But right now, usually, like I just counted, I think last year I did like 169 gigs last year. So if I'm just, you know, going out and it's so random. I might write a song for a dog who died. You know? I might go to a wedding or...
Now, when you said write a song for someone, is that something someone pays you to do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
If someone wanted a song written, how would they arrange that? Can they go on your website?
You can just contact me on my website. Yeah, my website is KarenShook.com. It's a weird time to be named Karen, you know, because it's a slur. And sometimes if you say something about it, people are like, oh, that's because you're a Karen. You know, it's very ignorant. I don't appreciate it.
My sister's name was Karen.
Listen, I don't want to say this, but sometimes I'm like, I know how the Richards must feel. You know what I'm saying? Come on. You know,
I spent my entire life as a dick.
Yeah, he's not a Richard.
It's different. It's useful in a different way.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a whole other story. So anyways, where were we? I got sidetracked. So my
website?
My website, KarenShook.com,
SHOOK.
SHOOK, yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, my family name is SCHUCH. When I was still married, I changed my name to SHOOK because I'm like, yeah, it's a stage name. I'm not taking my name back, I swear. But now, so my family is SCHUCH. And so...
And it's pronounced the same that it was Shook before?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's
hard to say. Go to KarenShook.com and have it spelled that way.
Scotch. But I have so many, like, my family members who have different businesses, and they're like, you should be in the family name, but it's like, nobody remembers that. So KarenShook.com or Karen Sings the Hits, because that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Same.
So, yeah, KarenShook.com. I have vinyl, CDs, and also pot holders.
Oh,
so it fits right in with the merch.
Yeah.
You know, as the second of 11 kids, my role was I was the cook.
Ah.
Is that right?
I was like up on a stool making pot roast when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
I
Impressive.
can do all kinds of things, yeah.
Now you're making lasagna after finding out you're Sicilian. It better be lasagna and mastacholi.
Oh my gosh, I want to, but the dairy, it's very difficult. Because I think there's also some Jewish in my blood. So
veal
like,
parmesan, maybe.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Dairy and veal.
Yeah, the Parmesan sure is.
Yeah, true.
I would actually love to eat lasagna tonight. That sounds amazing.
There you go. Find a dairy-free lasagna if you dare.
That's stupid. If you're gonna
if you're not gonna have
dairy,
the ragout in there, that doesn't make
cheese.
sense.
But I think the good cheese, like the good quality stuff, it's different.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's
no question.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
I care about food so deeply.
Yeah.
If I wasn't singing songs, and it's tough to make it in the restaurant business. I know some people are like, it's tough to be a musician. It's like, oof, food costs are crazy right now.
Every business is tough.
It's right.
There's no such thing as an easy business, or everybody would be doing it. That's what I tell my daughters.
Unless you're a bonbon eater.
Yeah. Well,
you know, the bonbon eaters on the couch?
Yeah.
It's not like a legit job, but it's out there.
True.
I've seen something. Is Craigslist still a thing?
I think it is. People
'Cause I
talk
haven't
about it.
gone on
Great
there in a while.
question.
I used to get some weird gigs. So like before I was able to like.
I want to hear this. Yeah.
Before I was, I'm like, I forgot about the rules on the radio. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's fine. Anyways, before I was able to like pay all my bills as a musician, you know, you're like, what else is out there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to clean a house. You're going to, you know, whatever. I don't know. You know, Craigslist, it's like,
Yeah.
you could find somebody who's like, listen, I'm going to pay you to come to my house, make lasagna, wear a tutu, and a top hat. And I'm not saying I did that. I'm not saying I didn't do that. Okay.
Right. And don't forget the bottom line is that no weirdos, please.
Yeah.
It's not that weird. It's fine. I just want to feel safe. And how many? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you do those?
I just censored myself again. Every
did
time
good.
I
That's fourth
censored
time.
myself, I'm like, gosh, you were doing a good job. Okay.
So did you take that gig?
Of course I did.
Of course.
Yeah, paying them bills.
Does it pay well?
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
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 I bet.
I mean, in this world, you got to
Yeah.
do what you got to do, right?
In
$20
this
is $20.
Yeah, you or I standing in our tutus cooking lasagna probably wouldn't work.
No, I
but
don't think anyone would pay me $20 to do it either.
Actually, just for the record, I don't know what websites you're on. I try not to be on the internets very often.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
same.
rough because you can get sucked in. But you'll find a gig for that, I promise.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah,
There's
probably.
some strange birds out there for sure. But yeah.
Wow, how did we get there?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's go back.
Craigslist.
Yes,
that's how-
the
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yes. Oh, right. And you were talking about making a living kind of in the gig economy.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're in the gig economy, you got to be a little bit,
Yeah.
what is it called when you're diverse, kind of what you offer, until you make a name for yourself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all did that in
Yeah.
college. You know, I collected eggs from a chicken coop with like 10,000 chickens. It was the nastiest thing I threw up every time I finished.
Gosh.
But you do what you got to do.
People don't know how gross that is.
Oh,
we
yeah.
had chickens and
You did.
goats. Actually, so because my mom, the 10th pregnancy my mom had, she had twins, and we lived in a house where we didn't have animals, but there was an outbuilding, so she couldn't keep up with the breast milk production, so she got goats because I don't know if you know this, but goat milk is the closest thing to human milk, and
Is that right?
It's actually much easier to digest than like cow milk formula.
Okay.
So we got goats, and anyways, we got the goats, and then we got chickens and ducks and all these things. But in conclusion, chicken poop, disgusting.
Oh, disgusting. Yeah. And every egg you picked up had chicken poop and chicken blood on it. It was gross. It made me not eat eggs for probably 10 years.
Wow.
Oh,
After
that's all?
seeing that.
Is that why they bleach them?
I did come back, though. Now I love eggs again.
That's why they bleach them, probably. Huh?
Probably.
But they last longer if you don't do that.
Right.
You know, they do.
Yeah. The farm fresh eggs, they last forever.
Oh, yeah. And you don't even have to refrigerate
Yeah.
them.
You put them on the counter.
Coated in fluids.
Yeah, and they have like that slimy feel to it, too. Yeah. Okay, you got another song?
Yeah, I do.
I really liked that, by the way. And you wrote that.
I did.
You didn't go to ChatGPT and say, hey, write me a song
Okay,
that
I
shows
just
it me
actually
moody.
told somebody yesterday, for the record, I've never gone to ChatGPT in my life.
What?
So I'm gonna sing a song, but before I do, I want to say, a friend of mine, he has a YouTube channel, is very successful, and he asked me if I could help him do a video, and so he was gonna do a video about AI writing a song versus a real human writing a song, and how does that feel different? And so he's like, if you can. I recorded, like he came over and we recorded me doing a little bit of a song, and then he took what I did and put it into the AI, and they did their AI thing, and it was like, anyways.
What'd you think?
I'm like, humans are going to be okay
Yeah.
with
Oh,
the
yeah.
music.
Yeah, I
'Cause
know
it's
that.
like,
AI can't do art. That's the
no.
one thing. It can't. They can't.
I don't know.
it's
Yet.
not, it's
Yet.
like, it's, well,
But I don't know that it ever will. Like, I use AI every single day. Hey, AI,
do?
type an email saying, sorry, you don't qualify for
Right,
a
and it's-
loan right now,
it's
but
obvious
you
it's
will
AI.
if you do these things. It is a whole page of exactly what I would say.
and like, and they took more time, and it was like, oh, that was really nice of you to say it like that. Where you're just
Absolutely.
like, I really don't even want to take the time to be kind. Listen, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you
Bye.
have terrible credit. Yeah, you have terrible credit. You're not buying a house. But AI does it so nice, and it's like, But for art, yeah, I don't see how. I mean,
did you see its new the new photos it creates?
Yeah.
Like it used to be obvious. My kids would make fun of me. Dad, you're a boomer. You don't understand the difference between AI photos and not AI photos. I'm like, I kind of do. I just think it's cool.
It's just gross.
But no, now it's realistic.
It's very
the one that just came out last week.
Yeah.
The new update. Tell you, it's going to accelerate at a speed that we can't even fathom.
Well, and even advertising. So there's literally teenagers that are making ads for products, and they put it up next to what the real ad is. So like there was one for Boeing that the budget was $500,000 on, and the ad that the teenager made mimicked literally the exact same plane flying through the sky, and then a nice field with wheat blowing, and it was literally the exact same thing, and it was free.
I feel like what's going to happen is because that stuff is so, it's so articulate and it looks so perfect and polished, we're going to yearn for imperfection.
Yeah.
You know, which is what I'm here for.
Isn't that why? Isn't that why Marshall amps are still so popular and so expensive? Isn't that
funny.
why vinyl is still popular?
Yeah.
Because people want that raw, fat sound.
Yes.
Digital music is like beep, 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 beep. And that's not what your voice really sounds like. It doesn't feel
the same when we don't process it. We don't process it the same.
It's fake. You could tell it's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
I agree.
It's so hard for me to choose a song to sing right now, but since we were
because you're not feeling anything.
Well, no, I feel a lot of things.
Oops.
Let's see.
There we go.
Let's see where we at. I'm gonna sing something. We talked about Creep before, right?
Yeah, I think someone mentioned that. I don't know who it was. Might have been me.
Okay.
So here's a cover of Creep from Karen Shook.
Yeah, let's do that. When you're here before, gonna look you in the eye.
Wow.
Just like an angel, skin make me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. We're so special. You're so special. I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't care if it hurts. I wanna have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to know it. whatever makes you happy, whatever you want. I wish I was special. You're so special. I'm a creep. I'm aware of what the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
Wow. Holy crap.
Very well done.
All right, just for the record, we all belong here. That's a disclaimer I have to say at the end. Because words matter.
Yes.
We belong here. We're here. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I do find it interesting, though, that you were looking for motivation on what to sing. She looked at me, and then she goes, I'm going to sing Creep.
Yeah. Not that you requested it earlier or anything. Come on.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That is not an easy song to sing. I mean, the tonality
Yeah.
of it and the inflection and the vocal changes in the middle of notes, that was incredible.
Thank you. It feels good. I feel very grateful.
Do you get that one requested a lot?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if people
Yeah.
know I can sing it, they're like, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
You know, one of the things I
sounded awesome.
love about my job is that so many of the cover songs I sing, like almost all of them, I feel like, is people just saying like, hey, you know what would be cool is if you did this.
Sure.
I did that to you.
Well, if I look at my
Yeah.
list of songs, like I would never think, because I was working at Russian River Vineyards in Forestville, California, and this kid, Will, was like working in the tasting room. He's like, that'd be cool if you did Creep, and I learned it, and I was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I said to her, I think Black Horse and the Cherry Tree is right up your alley. Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I just got a stomp box for my birthday.
Oh.
Like, I don't loop, but like a stomp box.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
What's your favorite? If
My
you had to pick
favorite?
one song that someone asks you to sing when you're like, yeah, I'm ready.
Well, Creep is definitely
One of them? Okay. I can see that.
I could tell
But-
the way she.
Yeah.
You could like. I could see the
Feels really good,
self-satisfaction
like,
at the
I
end
wanna
there.
Cry,
Yeah.
You know?
It
Feels
was so
really
good. It
Yeah.
was so good.
It changes definitely. It has changed over the years, but Wonderful World
Okay.
and Over the Rainbow.
Oh,
I
like
love
the
it.
Israel one?
Israel?
The guy from Hawaii? He does a mashup
actually,
of the two.
more like Ava Cassidy.
Okay.
Eva Cassidy. I was recently.
Okay.
I was told it's Eva, not Ava.
Now you know.
I'm like, because of Espanol. Okay, Eva. Eva. Anyways, it's EVA. I was trying to do the Espanol. Anyways, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Over the Rainbow. I love that a lot. Also, Nothing Else Matters by Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
What?
a good one.
Yeah. Oh, and Dirty Deeds by AC/DC. That's another one.
What's going on? Okay.
That dude
So,
last week.
no. The guy sitting in this chair that I told you about who sees his son who died
Who passed
8 years
away
ago.
tragically at
His
8 years old.
family song was Dirty
Yeah.
Deeds Done for Cheap.
Literally.
And he told a story about
I hope
how-
he's listening right
Me
now.
too. He drove up to school and he was mad at the principal. They got
Yeah.
into a fight and he's driving up in his car and he's got his 3 sons in the back and they're all slamming the car door like this as he's driving up in
Yeah.
the bus line. Dirty Deeds and screaming it.
That is
so funny.
bizarre. Wow. I hope he's listening.
I
because
know.
That's
I
for you,
usually-
Ralph.
I usually dedicate that song to my mother. She always gets a little offended. I'm like, hey, listen, Ma, it is what it is, all right?
Okay, what is your least favorites? For me, at a wedding, as soon as I hear the chicken
Brown Eyed
dance
Girl.
song, I'm
Oh.
okay.
Oh,
All
really?
right,
Yeah.
I have a short do not playlist. Brown Eyed Girl.
Okay. Why?
Sweet
That's a
Caroline.
good song.
It's
Oh,
definitely a
it's
good
cheesy,
song.
just like Sweet. You can see where she's going.
Yeah,
The same
those
thing with
are
Sweet
all-
Caroline.
Girl, Sweet Caroline. Sorry, Jimmy Buffett. Anything by Jimmy Buffett. Not saying they're not great songs. To me,
yeah.
feels terrible.
Okay. Okay.
Wait.
I'm not a Jimmy fan. My neighbor,
Yeah.
Mayor Nichols, loves Jimmy Buffett.
yeah.
Which I get it.
No,
it's
shut
like
it off. I don't
party
want to hear
time,
it.
but it's like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
But I don't know. Sweet
It's not
Caroline,
cool.
like I feel like those are
I
songs
like
that
Sweet
everybody
Caroline.
could sing
But
along
when
to.
people,
But
because like that
That
is
might
like
be
the
why.
ultimate
Yeah,
drunk
maybe.
song.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
No one's listening to you. They just can't wait to go, bam, bam, bam.
No, it's
Yeah.
the worst.
Totally.
It's the
Okay,
worst. Wait,
okay.
all right, there might be one more. It's a short list. I'm like, Sweet Caroline,
Brown Eyed Girl.
Eyed Girl, anything Jimmy Buffett. It's gonna come back to me because there's a couple that
The
I
list
put.
is getting longer.
And some people like say wagon wheel is the worst thing to do. I'm not there because I feel like when I play wagon wheel, like people get so happy and it's not,
Darius
it's-
Rucker?
Well, yeah,
Or
it was
previously?
Old Crow Medicine Show. Actually, Bob Dylan wrote half the song,
Oh,
and then Old Crow
okay.
Medicine Show finished the song many years later.
Uh-huh.
And Darius Rucker is perhaps the most famous for singing
Well,
it.
recently, yeah. You don't like that one, huh?
Oh no,
That's a great song.
No. What I'm saying is, some people shame me for singing it.
Oh.
No, I sing it. People love that song.
Huh.
People, they want to hug each other.
Yeah.
What's the shame?
Well, I think because it's played so much, but it's like it's played so much because it feels good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
I don't know the song.
No.
you're talking about.
What country song? I'm in a country
also,
phase right
I
now.
love country roads. And sometimes when I sing country roads, people are like,
Like the John Denver Country Roads?
Yeah.
Can you do that one?
yeah, heck yes, I can.
What's wrong with that song?
I
How
love
can
that song.
people hate
No.
that
I love
song?
that song.
That's such
I
a great
love,
song.
Like when I sing it, it makes
Yeah.
me so happy.
Okay.
But sometimes people are like, I hated that song until you sang it. All right, true story. I mean, someone was like, here's $100. Will you play the song? And I was like, yeah, I'll be right back. I need some money, you know?
Yeah.
So I did. Because it's
So
just
she
like
takes $100, she runs away, and she never
C,
comes
F,
back.
and G, and no, you get the A minor for the bridge. It's fine.
Before we
But-
go, I want to make sure it's clear here because I want to make sure people know your website. Because number one, I think they deserve to know it. So it's
Also, because I'm like, look at.
KarenShook.com, right? K-A-R-E-N.
K-A-R-E-N
Shook, S-H-O-O-K.
S-H-O-O-K, like all shook up.
.com. If they go there, if they're interested, they can see your merch. They can see
Yes.
your vinyl.
And my
you
full
have cassette
schedule.
tapes.
Yes, your
an
schedule.
track.
No cassette tapes.
Okay.
That would be a very well-rounded.
That would be.
Audio,
I've seen
audio.
some
Do you have a
bands do
cassette
that.
player, bro?
No.
Yeah.
I've seen some
I
bands
have a
do that.
cassette
You do?
player.
Oh.
Yeah, I do.
Man.
Now let's do, because you say you work locally, and I know the club owners and the venues, they all like it when you have people who come to follow
Sure.
you, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
like, where are some of the places that you feel are worthy of mentioning that, hey, I play there and I play there. If people want to see me, I will be there sometime, maybe this summer. You have a list of venues that you prefer?
I definitely do. Like in the summer, the Boathouse in Lake Geneva has me out a lot. I do a lot
They're
there
smart.
at the Boathouse in Lake Geneva, and I really appreciate that. Also, DC Cobbs, I do two Mondays. Like I do first Monday in Huntley at DC Cobbs, and the second Monday at McHenry at DC Cobbs. And so they always have Monday music.
They're on the river, right? Is that DC Cobbs?
It's on the little channel that
Yeah.
comes from the river. But yeah,
Okay,
they are.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
take your boat there.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
And you can
'cause
park
there's
at the end.
McHenry,
Yep.
There's Huntley, I think there's Dundee, and Woodstock also. Also,
Did you ever do Harbor Brewing in Lake Villa?
I haven't.
Okay.
Should I go
You
there?
should. They have a big crowd.
You know where I have never been, but I just got a date there is at So Hopped. And all the musicians tell me that So Hopped is a great place to play, that they love musicians. And so I'm excited. I don't drink beer. I only drink tequila if I'm drinking booze.
Mm-hmm.
Tequila.
Yeah, I can relate.
But yeah, so I'm excited to go there. But in the summertime, there's a lot of different things going on. There's Winestock in Woodstock, Illinois, which is like in the downtown on the square, and they do music outside, and that's very cool too.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. You should also talk to the Village around Lake Beach right here, because they do all kinds of gigs off of the pavilion, outdoor, indoor, throughout the summer. Always looking for good talent, and I think you would just kind of draw people in. If you have anything else you want to plug, because we're running out of time, and I think you're going to play us out with the next song. We're not
Yeah.
going to hear any more from you. So where else do you want to plug?
Gosh, now that there's something to say, I just want to say I'm happy to be on Earth, and I wish I would have brushed my hair a little better this morning.
But she
I'm
didn't
so
want to because of my
happy.
shoes. She
Well,
told us.
It's not that I didn't want to. I'm just like, screw it. What does it matter? We're going to keep it casual at 98.3 The Life.
Yeah, you're on the radio. You're not on TV, so.
Well, that's what I'm like, do we need to brush our hair? Also,
Nah.
there's headphones. What do I want to plug? Honesty. I hope that everyone loves each other. It's rough out there right now. It's also beautiful. And I think the best thing we can do, because I have 3 sons and we're all emotional and we have to connect with each other, the best thing I can say is that we need to stay connected. We need to stay connected, whatever that means, you know? So to me, it feels like music, and also roasted chickens. I love roasting a good chicken. Put some herbs under the skin, some garlic, maybe half a lemon in the middle.
Why don't you start us off on Country Roads? Karen Shook, everybody. Thank you, Karen, for being here.
Yes.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You'll have to come back.
We might sing along. I'm just kidding.
You don't want to hear that.
Please do. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, and then the mountain blowing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place where I belong. Oh, West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. All right, don't be shy on the next chorus, okay?
You got it. You too, Sly.
All my memories gather around her. I'm a lady and a stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted as the sky. Miss you taste your moonshine, a teardrop in my eye. Country roads take me on to the place where I belong. Oh, West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads.
I tried. I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
I hear a voice in the morning, how she calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get the feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, oh, country roads take me home to a place where I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home to a place where I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
Karen Shook, everybody.
Well done.
www.karenshook.com. Thanks for joining us this
Thanks
week.
for having me.
Karen, thanks for being here. You're awesome. I hope you'll come back because you were awesome.
I'll see you in the morning.
Okay, great. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Stay on top of the mortgage.
Nope. There we go. See you next week.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the heart of our community, exploring the ins and outs of real estate and meeting the people who make Lake County truly remarkable. Remember, every property has a story, and every community member holds a key to unlocking our county's full potential. Don't miss out on discovering more hidden gems and expert insights. Make sure to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon for another episode of Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr. Until then, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep unlocking the possibilities that await you in Lake County. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.
Don't know what's happened to me since I met you. Feel like I'm falling